What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Here we go. So I tried to make this video quick because I've been on a Reddit forum for a few days, and a lot of people are posting comments, questions about how to cure the Betta when the Betta has fin rot, fungus, Popeye eye, the swollen eye, other type of parasites. When the Betta is sometimes not showing visibly signs of parasite and bacteria infection and whatnot, but they're just not as active as they always were, and they're dragging themselves, like at the bottom of the tank. If any of those symptoms are somewhat related to your issue, as well as the ones that I've been reading on Reddit, I'm gonna show you today what I do with my fish. No medicine. This is like homemade stuff. I've been using it for years. Hell, I'm almost 40 years old, and I've used this the first time when I was 7 or 8 years old, when I had my first fish. This is a method that is being used worldwide, mainly in Asia, South America, here in United States, or let's just say first world country. It's all about go to the store, go to the pet store and buy this medicine. Like, can you imagine, right? In many other countries, there's no such thing, and people need to use homemade stuff. And this is so simple and it works. So I wanted to share it with you guys because I told somebody on Reddit, hey, do this. You need to do a sea salt bath. Your Betta might get better. And somebody else was like, no, don't be telling people to use salt. They might kill their fish. I'm gonna show you today that you won't kill your fish by doing this. Right, so here you are. I have a couple stuff ready to show you guys. But before I get into that real quick, before I forget, because I'm just gonna take a quick minute. I'm gonna feed my fry brine shrimp. Look at this, loaded with brine shrimp. So I'm gonna just feed real quick here. We got, I don't know, probably I forgot to even, this is one. I see it? We got a little bit of live Daphnia in there, but they're just too big, so the fry is not gonna eat it. But they're doing super good. Look how big they're gotten. See that? Look at it. So these are about, jeez, man, I have to look back and see, but maybe 12 days old, maybe. I don't even think this is a full 2 weeks yet. I don't think so. I wonder if I could zoom in a little more. See that? Anyway, so there you go. That's some of them. Right. All those little, and there's a lot of black ones too. That's why they're harder to see. But there's a lot of black ones in there. They're all gonna change color eventually. Anyway, so that's one. And over here, another recipe. We got boiled eggs. Now, I'm not putting chunks of the boiled eggs, right? All I'm doing is shaking that a little bit. I'm getting more of like the powder. Yeah, there might be a little bit of couple pieces in there that are a little bit too big. So we're gonna come over here where I have about about 200 more fries. Now the thing about boiled eggs is that you need to be very careful when you add it to the tank, because I wonder if I could see any here. Man, they're so tiny still. they're moving around, but they're really small. So these are about 7 days old, more or less. And they're really hard to see. They're really hard to see, but there should be like a good 150 to a couple hundred in there. Yeah, they're good. You know, when they're so small, for a few days I would feed them boiled eggs and micro worms. But then when they're about 10 days old to 2 weeks old, they're already feeding, you know, I'm already feeding them brine shrimp. And I have snails in the tank, so whatever left over, you know, those guys are gonna eat it. So anyways, back to the video. This is what you do. This is how we do this. So I already have fresh water in here. Okay, I already have fresh water in here. By fresh water, I mean dechlorinated. This is water that has been sitting in a tank for days outside in my backyard. So that water is where the fish is going to be in. Then we have almond leaf. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna put this much because you only need for that much water, which is about just under a gallon. This is about 3/4 of a gallon, so you only need a small piece. You don't need that much. All right, so look at this. You just need about that much, right? Now that's where the Betta is gonna stay. We're gonna add just a sprinkle of salt, not much, just a tiny bit. That's it, just a sprinkle, right? Now, why am I adding salt here? Because I want to make sure that any bacteria that was already in this container that was laying around or that's still attached to the skin and scales of the Betta, that these keep that bacteria or parasites in check, right? Then we're gonna add small drop of methylene blue, right? Look at this. That's it. That's that. Just enough to create some coloration in the water, like that, like so. That was barely a drop, to be honest with you. All I got was the tip of the pipette. I got it wet, and that's that. That's where your Betta is going to live for the next 2 days. Then you can take him out of there and transfer him to a big tank, already clean, good quality water, more almond leaf in the other tank if you can, you know, whatever, right? If you want to keep him in a small container like this, I guess by all means, but you're gonna have to change the water every 2 days pretty much, right? Now over here is where we're gonna make our salt bath. So we're gonna take water that I forgot to bring in, so let's go get it and you'll see how quick this is. This is fresh water, dechlorinated, ready to use. So look at that. We're gonna fill that cup with water. Let's put this over here for now. Fill that cup with water. Now over here though, let's really get all the methylene blue from in there. You see that? So this is a higher concentration than what we put this. See, it's still clear, but this is way more blue. So this is a higher concentration, but it's not really that much. It's just a couple drops. Not even, probably 1 drop, really, to be honest with you. I didn't take too much. All I did was to pretty much get it wet. Now here is where we're really gonna put about 2 spoons of salt. I'm just gonna eye this. So that's 1, and that's 2. Okay, we're just gonna stir that a little bit, not much. I mean, we don't want to smash the salt and break it into small little particles flying around, because we don't want the salt to, like, you know, get into the gills of the fish, or, you know, anything like that. You don't have to break it apart. Just having the salt sitting in the cup for about a minute or so, it's plenty, right? So now we're gonna come to one of these fish that are really, really old now, and that's why they're not looking very good. See, this one has the bladder disease, dolphin disease issue. And he's gonna live like that, you know. He's just gonna live like that, but he won't die or anything. It's just he doesn't swim well. So let's take this one. All right, we'll take this one. See, fin rot. His fins are almost gone. Okay, so we're gonna take this guy and we're gonna dump him in there. Look at that. And we'll leave him in there for about 10 seconds. See, what the salt is gonna do is that it's going to stunt the fish. Okay, that's enough. He's still moving. He's not gonna die or anything. He just gets stunned a little bit. There you go. All right, and then we're gonna put him over here. Let's just give him a minute. There you go. And that's that. This, my friend, is all you have to do when it comes to a salt bath. And what salt do I use? Sea salt. You could pretty much use any salt you want. That's all you do, right? So now he's gonna stay in this container for about 2 days, and then I'm going to transfer him over to the older one that I'm gonna get clean, because obviously this is important. That fish got sick for a reason, right? If you put him back in the old tank, most likely he's gonna continue to be sick and never get better, because that tank is the problem. There's parasites in there, bad bacteria, infections, fungus. It's all in the water now. You need to get rid of everything that's in there, clean it up real good, and then you can start all over again. Now, if it's a planted aquarium and all that stuff, obviously you don't want to do that. So you might want to do an almost complete water change, and then you can add the fish back in, 2 days later after he's been in there for 2 days. Now, again, some fish will not get better. These ones that I have here in this smaller, about 1 gallon container, they're about 2 years old, right? They were always sick to begin with. They never grew well. They have issues, right? But I kept them regardless, right? And then the weather sucks right now. So for almost 2 weeks, I've been meaning to transfer all of these to bigger buckets, but it wasn't too warm. And then it's been raining. So that's why I still have them in there. But they're gonna go outside in bigger buckets like this, and that's where they live the rest of their days, right? But again, this is what you do. And some old fish like this, again, will not get better. They'll just take too long to regenerate the fins and the tail. Sometimes they'll never grow them back, right? They won't die, but they just won't look like a strong, healthy fish, right? Like they won't look like this. Look at this. They'll never look like this again. You know what I mean? Because this is a juvenile. This is a strong juvenile fish. They'll never look like that again. Right, this is another female, see? They'll never look like this again. Thick and, with beautiful, shiny colors. They'll never look like that again. Look at this other one. right? So when the fish are younger, like just a few months old, and they get sick, this method works really well. Same as medicine, you know, you could use medicine, but this is just, to me, so quick, and you know, it just works, man. It just works. It's just that, as with everything in life, you know, it's same with human beings. Some people get sick of the same thing, but the other one takes a long time to recover or potentially die if it's a pretty bad sickness, while the other person actually heals up pretty good and quicker and survives. So it's the same with fish, you know. Just because you do this, I'm not saying it's magic. I'm not saying it's gonna make your fish survive, right? But I just, it helps, you know. So that's that. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye now.